Good evening everyone, hope you're all having a cracking night. Blogsy here. I'm just here chilling out at home, still on target for dry January. Went over to Morocco, luckily enough there wasn't much booze available in any of the restaurants over there, so it was pretty easy for me. 12 days into January now, alcohol free, feeling really good. On the green tea, top of the morning to you. Obviously in shoulder rehab at the moment. Bicep tendonitis means I can't push any weight on my upper body. I'm shrinking by the day. I can train my legs, do cardio, do some core, and I can actually use the left hand side of my body. So today I actually done some bench press with a dumbbell only on my left pec, which is kind of weird, but you know, I'm right-handed, so it's slightly bigger. So making a little improvision there. But I'm going to spin through a few of the things I've been looking at. We're going to talk about Kempton, Wetherby, Punchestown and a little bit of Warwick. But I've been reading a lot of these blogs today from the trainers, from the jockeys, getting all the information in the brain, seeing what people are saying, and I'm going to give it back to you here on screen now. Hopefully you like this. If you like it, drop me some comments down below and we can have a chat about it. Paul Nicholls said about Secret Investor, who runs in the 12.55 at Kempton. He will improve for the outing. I thought that was quite significant. That's in the 12.55. Over in Aidan Coleman's blog, he talks about a horse that we all know a lot about, Fountains Windfall, who's fallen in his last two races. He's a very talented horse, has been a bit unlucky since. I won him at Southwell. He had every chance at Newbury, which we know, and again at Kempton. With a clear round, he should obviously have a great chance. Doesn't give too much away, but he does sound pretty bullish there with a clear round at the end. And then in Richard Johnson's blog, Richard sounds very, very bullish about this. He says, the reason I go to Wetherby is to ride for the boss, Philip Hobbs. I ride Western Story 5-2 in the handicap 250, and he should come on bags for his seasonal reappearance from Carlisle. He got a bit tired, like a lot of Philip's horses, and seems to be coming back into form. He's the reason I'm going to Wetherby. Been showing encouraging signs at home that he's back to his best. I think he's got a very strong chance. Now that for me, for Dickie Johnson, sounds very, very bullish about Western Story in the 250 at Wetherby. Right, kicking off with the 12.20 at Kempton, we've got a 2-mile juvenile hurdle due to be run on soft ground, 7 runners. And we've got a bit of a standing dish in this one, Redician for Alan King, who won over course and distance on his debut over Timber. Cost Alan 85,000 guineas off of the flat, rewarded the owners there with a winning performance, winning really easily by 10 lengths. Apparently he hated the ground, it shouldn't be as soft today. He looks set to take all the beating. He's 6-4 on at the moment. Varzani is 5-1 and Capad for Gary Moore is 11-4. Now some interesting stats here. Alan King, 4 winners from his last 12 runners, a 33% strike rate. Robert Walford, again in great form, 3 winners from his last 12, 25%. And Gary Moore, 7 winners from his last, and we got that bit wrong. Robert Walford is 7 from his last 36, 19%. And Gary's 3 from 12, operating at a 25% strike rate. So all 3 trainers in that opening race are in cracking form. But for me, my money's definitely going to be on Redician there. He's a course and distance winner. I think he was really impressive first time out. And with more to come and knowing his job, I think he'll take some beating. And interestingly, Capdad, who ran behind a horse called Nayati, is also trained by Alan King. So Alan already knows what it takes to beat Capdad. I think Redician will take the opener at Kempton Park. Now the 12.55 is a 3-mile novice hurdle and it looks a really interesting race. Nicky Henderson's got 2 in the race. The betting at this stage, Secret Investor 11-8, Chef de Zobo 6-4, Duke de Berry 6-1, and the betting goes down from there. It's an interesting race. Paul Nicholls is Secret Investor. You know, he ran second over 2-mile 5 at Kempton last time out, hit the second last. Barring that mistake, I think he would have won. I backed him that day and I was pretty gutted, to be honest. But he's been off for 61 days and Paul did say, as I mentioned before, he thinks he's going to come on for the run. So to me, I was slightly, you know, off-putting by that comment. How is he going to handle the ground? He ran on good ground and good to soft before. It's going to be soft today, so he's got a bit to prove. The form of that novice hurdle at Kempton, the 3rd has come out and won, and the 4th, who reopposes today, Duke de Berry, came out to finish 2nd. Now Duke de Berry of Nicky's, apparently maybe his 2nd string, has 15 lengths to make up with Secret Investor. So he's got a fair bit of ground to make up. The one I do like in this race is Chef de Zobo. A French recruit who was second to a horse of Anthony Honeyballs called Sam Brown, who's franked the form since. Second at Newbury on his first start over hurdles behind one of Nicky's called Santini. Robin Waters was in that race. Bill and Barn, who was second recently, looks decent form. Stepped up on that to win at Utoxeter. And this is quite an interesting race. Beat a horse of Warren Gracious called Bob Marler. Now the third in that race has come out and won. The fourth has come out and won. It looks like really solid form. In fact, Taylor Tom has not only won, but he was second yesterday. And if he jumped a bit better, I'm sure he would have won. But I think Chefs de Zobo with Noel Feely on board. Nicky is in phenomenal form. I've got a few stats here. 10 winners from his last 25 runners, including a hat-trick at Huntingdon today, a 40% strike rate. Whatever Nicky Henderson runs at this stage, you've just got to give it serious consideration. I think these two horses, Secret Investor and Chef de Zobo, are going to flip-flop. At the moment, Secret Investor is favourite, 11 to 8. Chef de Zobo 6 to 4. I think that's going to flip. I think tomorrow you're going to be looking at Chef de Zobo at 11 to 8 and potentially Secret Investor at 7 to 4. I'm quietly confident about Noel Feely and Nicky winning with Chef de Zobo in the 12.55. Now, I put a tweet out prior to this video highlighting the gamble in the 130 on Amy Murphy's Mercy and Prince. 5 to 1, already into 5 to 2. And if you start to dig deep into this horse's form, you can see why the money's come from Mercy and Prince. Amy Murphy, you know, shrewd yard, I'm sure they're not wasting their bullets. Won at Sandown in January, offer 128, is only offer 134 today. Won pretty easily that day, fell next time out at Cheltenham and still travelling really well. I think you can forget the run in February, you know, it's probably feeling the effects of the Cheltenham run. Started off the year with a third place behind the late Starkitect. Was only beaten 3 lengths that day, receiving £5. That was a cracking run at Stratford. Went over to Aintree, probably hated the heavy ground, may not have liked the fences. Amy's had 35 days to freshen this horse up. The handicap has dropped him £1. It's got course form here at Kempton with a third behind Max Ward. The ground should be perfect. I think this French recruit is probably going to take all the beating for Amy. Two of the other likely contenders here, Bishop's Court and Breath of Blighty. They've got form that ties in together. Judged on the handicap ratings, there's no reason why Bishop's Court should turn the tables with Breath of Blighty. Bishop's Court is doing really well for Neil Mulholland. You know, he's gone up from a mark of 122 in his last 7 runs up to 137. He's going to have to put in another career best performance to be competitive in this race. But I think the money is speaking volumes here for Mercy and Prince. And I remember him winning last year. He was pretty much Amy Murphy's star horse. He rattled off that quick double at Stratford and Sandown and was really impressive. I think Mercy and Prince will win the 130 for Amy Murphy. The 5 past 2 is a 2 mile 4 listed race and it's a quality looking affair. You've got a horse of the calibre in God's Own who, as we know, beat Vitor over in Ireland on his day. He's really high class. The betting at the moment, waiting patiently 7 to 4, God's Own 5 to 2, Smad Place, the Lovable Grey 9 to 2, Joss's Hill 5 to 1, then it's 20 to 1 bar. It looks between the front 4 in the betting and all the money early doors has all been for waiting patiently. And I think that's, you know, justified in the sense that he's an up-and-coming horse, where a lot of these are kind of getting to that stage where they're about to turn OAP-ish. Nothing wrong with being an OAP, by the way. But waiting patiently, you cast your mind back to Haydock in January when he beat Pulatug. And I thought that was a bit of a fluke that day. I know Pulatug pulled quite hard that day, but he pulled away fairly easy. Was looked after very well by Malcolm Jefferson, came back at Carlisle, won a nice little race there, beating Bellamy Depictions. And you just feel as though this horse is the apple of Malcolm's eye. I think he's treating him with kid gloves. He's looking after him, and I think he'll be primed for this run here today. You know, he's got 11.4 on his back, gets £2 from the top 2, Joss's Hill and Smad Place. He's an interesting contender. God's Own, he had his first run of the year at Aintree in the race that Smad Place won. Was a bit disappointing being beaten 20 lengths, but he's a horse who normally improves for a run and gets better as the year goes on. Tom's horses weren't firing at that stage pretty much 2.5 months ago. Yards in far better form. You'd be really hopeful God's Own runs a massive race here. You know, he's getting £6 off of Joss's Hill, who's rated 150. and God's Own's rated 163. That tells a tale in itself. But for my money here, I couldn't have Joss's Hill. He's far and few between with his best runs. He's all over the place. Smad Place, the Lovable Grey, the Flying Grey. I think he had his payday in October winning at Aintree. Disappointed at Ascot last time out. I think he'll get found out on this fast track here at Kempton. I think Waiting Patiently will win. Brian Hughes doing the steering, and I think this could be a real quality horse in time. I'm hoping he puts his mark on the National Hunt season in this and delivers. Obviously God's Own is a huge danger getting £4. But I'm hoping, banking on Waiting Patiently and Malcolm Jefferson's patience doing the business. The Lanzarote, a 2 mile 5 handicap hurdle. It's a decent listed handicap hurdle at that. Ultra competitive. Some firms going 5 places each way. You look at the betting. William Henry 5 to 1. Nicky, Desi de Biffs, Nicky 7s into 5s. River Frost for Alan King, another trainer in form, 11 to 2. Top of the game 8. Core Blind Me 11s. La Patriote for the Doctor, the good old Doctor. He's available at 12 to 1, and it just goes on down from there. It's an ultra competitive handicap, and we could talk about it all day, but the two that stand out for me here are River Frost and I do like a little bit of Spirit of the Games, who I backed on Boxing Day last year. But talking about Barry Geraghty's ride here, River Frost was an excellent 5th at Chepstow in a race that couldn't have worked out any better if you try. You've got Sam Spinner, who, as we all know, has improved bucket loads and incredible. Got on to win at Ascot, winning a Grade 1. Holstone, who was just in front of River Frost, went on to win at Cheltenham on New Year's Day. So the form of that race is exceptional. I think River Frost, he's had a break there. Alan will be getting this horse tuned up. He's won at Kempton over 2 mile 5 before. He's a course and distance winner. His horses are in cracking form. I think Barry Geraghty and River Frost there have got to be an each way bet to nothing. And the other horse there for Dan Skelton is Spirit of the Games, who I backed on Boxing Day last year. Got beat by the gamble, Does Your Dog Bite. He's got decent form, won a nice little race at Lingfield, 134. Bridget taking off the £3 will effectively run off a 131. They would be my 2 against the field. Spirit of the Games at 12 to 1 and River Frost at 6 to 1. So a horse I was talking about earlier on in the week is Fountains Windfall, who runs in the 3:15, a 3 mile handicap chase. And he runs off a 146. Now the simple thing about this horse is, yes, he's fallen in 2 races, but on both occasions he was absolutely cruising, especially in the Cato Stars Novices Chase last time behind Black Core 10. Whichever way you look at it, he was going to be in the shake-up. Black Core 10's rated 155. Fountains Windfall gets into this race off a 146. I didn't want to tell punters to take the 2 to 1. It wasn't non-runner, no bet. You would have absolutely killed me if he got pulled out. But I did put the suggestion out there for all of you. Trainer Anthony Honeyball's been in brilliant form this year. Yes, he's a novice in a handicap, but that wouldn't put me off at all. He's a front runner. There aren't any other front runners in this race. I think he'll get his own way out in front. Anthony was quoted as saying he doesn't think the falls affected his confidence. He's got superstar jockey Aidan Coleman doing the steering. Aidan, get this one over, lad. He's available at 5 to 4. I think Fountains Windfall will win. I'm on at 2 to 1. Hopefully a few of you are as well. I think the only dangers to him not winning are those bloody fences. It's pretty much a Nicky Henderson monopoly on the card. The 345, again, he's got the 1st and 2nd. Charming Zen at 13 to 8 and Jenkins, funny old Jenkins at 7 to 2. And it's a bit of a conundrum for punters. I mean, Charming Zen, he's got James Bowen on board and he's favourite, and you'd be thoughtful that the Henderson yard know which horse is the best handicapped. I'd find it very, very hard to back Jenkins. Yes, he's in a lower grade race. Yes, he's been dropped £3 by the handicapper for his last run. But the simple fact of the matter is this horse just looks vulnerable. At any stage his jumping could let him down. If a trainer like Nicky Henderson can't get the best out of him, in those 2 runs, when is the penny finally going to drop for Jenkins, who ultimately has a lot of talent? Charming Zen, a French recruit, hosed up at Doncaster first time out, is obviously working very, very well. Was transferred from the Dan Skelton yard, interestingly enough, to Nicky Henderson, and he seems very strong in the market. And if you're somebody who follows the market like I do, then you wouldn't be opposing Charming Zen. Interesting to see what happens in the morning. For me, it's a no punting race at this stage. Don Bursey's a horse I really like. I think he could potentially be well handicapped off a 130, but I think he'd like the ground even softer than it is today. An interesting race in the last. I think the market vibes will tell the story. The two best bets on the Kempton card for a quick recap. Chef de Zobo in the 12.55 for Nicky Henderson. Think that's going to take all the beating stepping up in trip. And in the 3.15, as we all know, Fountains Windfall. Don't fall, don't fall. The 3.35, the big race over at Warwick, 3 miles, 5 furlongs. It's going to be a real old slog. You'll be able to make a cup of tea, have a ham sandwich and still see the finish. And the horse I like here is trained by Kerry Lee. Krakota King was actually second in the race last year. And Kerry's in good form at the moment. She's operating at a 23% strike rate. 3 winners from her last 13 runners, which is really some good going from Kerry. This horse was second last time out at Wincanton, 3 mile 1 on heavy ground. The conditions will not affect this horse at all. Now the 3.35 at Warwick is a 3 mile 5 handicap chase, and it's going to be a true test of stamina. You'll be able to make a cup of tea, have a shave, make a ham salad sandwich and still see the finish. Now the horse I like here is a horse called Good to Know, trained by Kerry Lee. She's got 2 in the race, but I prefer the booking here of Jamie Moore. This horse was second last year in this race over course and distance. And the horse that won was a horse called One for Arthur, who, as you all know, went on to win the Grand National, the biggest steeplechase in England. It hasn't been in the best of form this year, pulled up at Aintree last time out and seated his rider at Wincanton. But off a marker 138 with the powerhouse jockey on board, Jamie Moore, I think this could run a fairly decent race. You're going to be ballsy to win this, and this horse has got proven form on soft and heavy ground. 12 to 1 each way, can't say fairer than that. Switching over to Wetherby, arguably the best bet on the card has to be Bundoran, who amazingly wasn't raised by the handicapper for his second to Gino Trail. Is in here off a 139, raced in that race off a 139. Was, only beat in the last furlong, beat in the length and a half, and that's decent form. And Bundoran has proven winning form on heavy ground, which is definitely going to be important in that kind of going. He's won at Haydock on heavy, he's won on soft at Newcastle, and again, Tom George's horses are in good form. Good young jockey booked in Kieran Gethings, 5 to 4 Bundoran. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't win the 2.15. As I already mentioned, Richard Johnson said he's going to Wetherby to ride Western Story, and he runs in the 2.50, a 2 mile 3 handicap hurdle. And listen, if Dickie Johnson says he really fancies the horse, what else can I say to all of you? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Some good quality action over at Punchestown as well. We've got a Grade 3 novice chase, and we've got the maniac Meghli Khan, who ducked out in that sensational race over in Ireland, running in the 10 past 2, a Grade 2. But I think Willie Mullins holds the winning key to the 1 o'clock invitation only, who was very impressive at Navan last time out, beating Ted Walsh's horse Any Second Now, who went on to be second to Footpad. This is a lovely big chaser, a course and distance winner, and I expect him to just simply lead all the way. Talking about Meghli Khan, interesting the betting, flip-flopping favs. Get a Bird fav all week, now Meghli Khan 11 to 8, Get a Bird 6 to 4. It's going to be interesting. I mean, why did he duck out? Does he have a quirk? Does he have an attitude problem? I guess time will tell. For me, it's a no punting race. I'll sit back and watch it. I don't particularly have a strong view at all. I thought Meghli Khan looked really, really high class when he won at Ferryhouse, but again, horses ducking out like that, a bit random to me. I will be at Kempton tomorrow. Hopefully it's not pissing with rain. What's the blogger banker? Well, you'll have to come back tomorrow and find out. What's your banker of the day? Drop it down below, and if you're feeling brave, give me your best lay of the day. It's some good action tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing what develops in the morning, seeing how the markets change, and it's going to be interesting. Really keen on this Chef's de Zobo, I've got to be honest, in the 12.55 at Kempton. Nicky Henderson is flying. Adios from the blogger. See you at Kempton.